Guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. Nations call for Ukraine to end strikes on Black Sea oil assist. At the same time, this is coming out. Russia, neighbor, warns Ukraine after new oil pipeline strikes. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. And this is a big breaking news. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom is all about the oil. The same thing going on in the Caribbean and Venezuela. I believe something bad is going to spark pretty soon in Venezuela. You have Russia send their planes evacuating citizens. Iran has told Nicholas, if you need to exile, you could come here. Again, Nicholas said that he's going to stay and he's going to fight for his country against the sleeping giant. So things are not looking good when it comes to wars and rumors of wars. Now we're going to see what's going on here. We're going to go towards European area, and we're going to see what's going on with the oil war. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and a PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support, guys. So Kiev attack on infrastructure, propping up oil exports are a detrimental to Kazakh relations with Kiev. Astana's Gov said on Sunday after Ukrainian seaborne drones struck 2 Russian-linked oil tankers, and Kazakh authorities said unmanned boats had damaged an oil terminal in the Black Sea. So Ukraine has frequently struck infrastructure connected to the bare oil and energy exports to cut Kremlin off from funds used to support its war effort. So the Kazakh Foreign Ministry said on Sunday it expresses its protest over the latest targeted strike on the vital infrastructure of the international Caspian pipeline in the waters of Novorossiysk seaport. Now, you see that tanker there? It got hit. It got hit really hard. Is that one, and there's another one too. All right, so there was some unmanned drone that struck that tanker. Now you have certain countries here is telling Zelensky to knock it off. The Caspian pipeline operates more than 1,500 kilometers, around 930 miles of pipeline from Kazakhstan to a terminal close to Russia port on the Black Sea coast, where it is loaded onto tankers. Western companies are also shareholders in the CPC. Now, the CPC said on Saturday it had stopped operation at one of its moorings, which was significantly damaged by uncrewed surface vessels. Moorings are used to load tankers away from the coastline. So, it's not only hurting the bear, but it's hurting other countries. These hitting tankers and stuff, even though it's not other countries' tanker, but it's still hurting their economy. So the mooring has been taken out of operation until full repair and restoration works are completed. Now, Astana says such actions against purely civilian critical infrastructure are unacceptable, and said it had redirected crude oil exports to limit negative consequences. We regard this incident as an action detrimental to the bilateral relations between the Republic of Kazakhstan and Ukraine, and we expect the Ukrainian side to take concrete measures to prevent such incidents from recurring, Astana said. Now, the next article is going to be a good one. It's basically seems like other nations is also getting involved. Astana said that the CPC was key for maintaining global energy supplies, and the country placed special emphasis on ensuring the stable and uninterrupted supply of energy resources. Now, Ukraine's military said early on Saturday it had targeted the Fetspi oil refinery in Russia's Krasnodar region, but that the extent of the damage wasn't clear. It also said it had destroyed a storage tank at the Tups oil terminal on Tuesday. Now, both the FSP and Tups sites are in Krasnodar. The military did not reference a strike, skip that name, also in the Krasnodar, but Andrei, an official with the Ukraine National Security and Defense Council, said drones had managed to destroy one of the CPC 3 oil tanker moorings near Novorossiysk. I truly apologize about some of these words here, guys. Give her a couple of more years, I'll be learning how to speak Ukrainian, their language. So, a source in Ukraine SBU Domestic Security Agency told Newsweek Ukrainian service drones had struck 2 oil tankers in the Black Sea on Friday afternoon, linked to Russia's so-called Shadow Fleet. Now, these are vessels widely believed to be used by the Kremlin to skirt sanctions placed on Russia by many Western countries. It says here Kiev used homegrown Sea Baby naval drones to strike the Gambian flag Karos and Varan tankers, the source said, but did not reference damage to the moorings at the Novorossiysk. The source said that the SBU operation was carried out jointly with the Ukrainian Navy, and both tankers suffered critical damage. The SBU source said that the tankers were emptied when the upgraded Sea Baby drones struck the vessels and were en route to Novorossiysk. The Sea Baby naval drones were developed specifically for the SBU. This will deal a significant blow to the transportation of Russian oil. It's all about the oil. And we've seen that too, not too far from the US territory out there. You got the Caribbean, Venezuela. Maria, a spokesperson for Russia's foreign ministry, said Moscow strongly condemned strike on both the tankers and the CPC infrastructure. Now, Russian state media reported on Sunday that officials were in touch with Turkish authority over the strike on the tankers. Now, Turkey Gov said over the weekend the Ukrainian strikes on the tankers happened within Ankara's exclusive economic zone and pose serious risk to navigation, life, property, and environmental safety in the region. So what Ukraine did was wrong. They they hit the tanker in the territory that is free to, navigate. So what the people are saying? Well, Kazakhstan Gov said on Sunday, referring to Ukraine's reported Saturday strike on the Caspian pipeline, this incident constitutes the third act of aggression against a civilian facility protected by the norms of international law. There you go. Now we're going to go with the next one. Nation call for Ukraine to end the strike on Black Sea oil assist. Let's see what's going on with this one here. Turkey and Kazakhstan have condemned Ukraine's strike on Russian oil assist in the Black Sea and urged an end to further strike that could threaten the flow of energy supplies to nearby nations. Now, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is nearing its 4-year mark as the U.S. Commander administration and officials from Moscow and Kiev continue to seek a peace deal that would end the conflict. Western nations attempted to limit the bear resources by implementing sanctions and switching to alternative energy sources or supplies of oil to cut off Russia's cash flow. However, the Kremlin has continued to sell off its oil both legally and through its increasingly notorious shadow fleet of unmarked oil tankers sailing around the world and fund its military campaign in Ukraine. So, again, that's the reason why they're hitting the oil tanker, because supposedly Russia is selling oil and they're gaining profit. With that profit, they use it to continue the war in Ukraine. So, hit the oil, no profit, no war. You can't pay the military because there's no money. Ukraine has therefore struck Russian energy assets in the Black Sea, while the US and European allies look to potentially implement sanctions against any nation that continued to conduct business with the bear. So they're trying to stop the bear. They're trying to stop it with sanctions. They're trying to stop the bear by hitting their oil facility. They're trying to stop the bear by slapping sanctions on China and India. They're trying to stop the bear, but it's not working. The bear's too strong. The Turkish Gov on Sunday condemned Ukrainian drone strikes until the bear shadow fleet tankers in the Black Sea, while Kazakhstan, an OPEC Plus member, told Ukraine it must stop the strike in the Black Sea terminal of the Caspian pipeline, which includes Russian, Kazakh, and American shareholders. Both strikes have hindered the flow of oil through the Black Sea, which in turn is hurting nearby nations who continue to rally on Russian oil to meet their energy demands. So how do you stop the bear? I mean, they're really hitting the bear with everything they have. It's not working. How do you stop the bear? Even Marco Rubio came out and said, we slapped them with every sanctions that we have. It's not working. How do you stop the bear? Well, I guess you go after the BRICS, right? You take down the BRICS, but they're too powerful. So what's next? How do you stop the bear? Again, we don't know how you stop the bear. They're too strong, too powerful. The CPC announced it halted operation after a mooring at its Russian terminal on the Black Sea was damaged by the Ukrainian naval drone strike. Reuters reported Kazakhstan Foreign Ministry said that the strike were the third such wave on the facility, which it insists is a exclusively civilian facility whose operation is safeguarded by norms of international law. Man, they really trying their very best on stopping the bear, but it's not working. Donald knows it, so Donald wants to just forget it. Let's work peace. Let them get those territory. I don't want to take my land and start firing nukes. Let them take those territory. Crane said its action were retaliation and that the nation only hits back at the aggressors, having no ill intent against Kazakhstan or any third parties. But Kazakhstan, understandably, is keen to keep the terminal operational as it accounts for 80% of oil export for the West Asian nation. And the Turkish Foreign Ministry said the strike on the cargos and variant vessels happened within the Turkish exclusive economic zone, posing serious risk to navigation life, property, and environmental safety in the region. The only way to stop the bear, World War III, whoever wins it, wins it. But that would be catastrophic. That would be nuclear. That would be the end of a lot of stuff. And many people would hide in caves. Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. For a few territory in Ukraine, it's not worth it. Turkey has been involved in the peace talk between the bear and Ukraine, and is now additionally communicating with relevant parties to prevent the conflict spreading any further throughout the Black Sea. The Open Sanctions database described the two vessels as part of a fleet of ships used to evade sanctions imposed on the Bear following its invasion of Ukraine, the Associated Press reported. Now, Ukraine, meanwhile, confirmed that it used naval drones to hit the tankers near Turkey Black Sea coast, and all crew members on both vessels were reported safe after the strike. Ukrainian leader Zelensky wrote on X in part, in furtherance of the pressure from partners on Russia for this war, Ukraine has synchronized sanctions with the US and introduced restrictions against Rosneft, its enterprises, as well as companies that are part of the Lukoil group. Now, sanctions against these companies are already noticeably depriving the Bear war machine of money, and this needs to be continued. I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing any damage. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on, and that's basically all of it there. I'm not seeing sanctions hurting the Bear. Is actually making them a lot stronger. But again, you guys get the picture. These oil tanker getting hit, it's causing nothing but problems from other countries. So how do you stop the Bear? It seems like nothing is working. And eventually we're going to find out sooner or later. But NATO, they are getting stuff ready, preparing for worst case scenario. Again, like I said, they do have their preparation against Russia without the US. And I did post that video. The link will be in the comments box if you guys want to check it out. But again, I will keep you updated with Nation Against Nation. This is all the information here. Before you leave, make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And again, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.